Well, hi YouTube, Brian here on my path to Paphos, and in this video, this is a quick update video just to keep you up to speed as to where I am in my life and on my path to Paphos, because this isn't about telling you how to do it. There's lots of things I'm having to learn, so it's not about telling you how to do it, but it's giving you an idea of some of the issues and the pitfalls and the successes I'm finding along the way. So please join me in these videos and I hope you enjoy them. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you about some of the little issues I've been having online and where I stand on it. But also before that, I'm going to give you a quick update on where I am, reference my Irish citizenship and passport. So, last week I got my citizenship certificate through. Wonderful. I'm really over the moon with that, because it really gives me, well, it gives me a sense of belonging, first of all, with my Irish heritage, but it also is a big door opener towards going into Europe for me and my wife. That, of course, isn't able to be used as yet properly because I need to have my Irish passport. So, excuse me, duly, I went online. The bureaucracy is fantastic. They've just got all my forms and my photographs and everything back from my foreign-born registration just last week. And yet I have to upload the same forms, or have to submit the same forms and a new photograph, because it took 10 months to get my FBR, foreign born register, but you have to submit a photograph which is no older than 6 months. Yeah, okay, that was good enough a week ago, but it's not good enough now. Obviously you got certificates, and of course I had to go and get them countersigned as being certified by the same person who countersigned and certified them 10 months ago for my FBR. You get the picture. I'm not going to complain too much of it. The passport I'm going for is €100. It's the normal size book, but also with the electronic passport as well, so that should be interesting because I haven't seen one of them. And duly, I got everything together, sorted out, put it in the envelope. I took a new photograph. You can take your own photograph and submit it, and it checks it all out, just like on the UK passport. And sure enough, that was done, and some forms, because this is a first-time passport application for an Irish passport, remember. So I had to do things like have my UK passport main page photocopied and countersigned on the back, and my driving licence. I put a couple of bills and things in with it to prove my residency in my home where I claim to live. And also I had to, as I say, get the photograph taken, and also include a certified birth certificate, which is fine. Did all that, put it in the envelope along with the barcodes that you can track it on. Went in, sent it off recorded mail on Monday. Of course, it has to be airmail because it's going across to Ireland. And one of the things which is different, I don't have to submit necessarily the original documents because I'm in a different country of residence. That's why it has to be countersigned. So that's one advantage for me. I could send copies because they're countersigned by somebody on their list, which is the same person I did, who was a chartered engineer. And they got sent off. And I came back quite happy with myself, having spent several pounds sending the envelope off to Ireland. Came back quite happy myself and thought myself, because I'd used some of the certified documents from the first ones I say, and I thought, I'm sure I recall putting a blue form in there. My birth certificate is white. So I looked when I got home, and sure enough, I put my marriage certificate in instead of my birth certificate. This is the problem when you get old and senile like me. So of course, all my paperwork had now gone to Ireland with the wrong certificate in. So yesterday I got in touch with the Irish Passport Office, and I must say this from the beginning. I called up. I was absolutely astounded by the level of service. It was fabulous. There was a lady on the far side who was incredibly helpful, incredibly well-mannered, and she helped me all the way through. So what I had to do is I had to download another cover page with a different barcode on to be able to send this off. So I sent it off duly yesterday afternoon for another extortionate amount of recorded delivery and an airmail thing. So hopefully my passport is all over. My passport application is all over with the Irish Passport Office, and within 6 to 8 weeks, hopefully, I should have my Irish passport in my hand. And then I can do the picture that I sort of on my other channel where I actually sort of spoofed it, but I can actually do the real thing with the real passport. So I'm looking forward to that. So the passport is well underway. A lot of the comments I've had online have been supportive, but there's been one or two critical. And the biggest critical part of it online is actually the fact that you can only fit so much into these videos. And there's also, this is a private thing. I am giving away a certain amount of my story and things, but I don't want everybody knowing all the ins and outs of all my private parts to my journey to Cyprus. So there's a lot of things I'm either generalising or I'm deliberately omitting. So thanks to all the people who tried to give me advice on some of these things and said, well, you know, you're not looking into this hard enough, or you need to be doing this and doing that. Most of the things which are already on there are being looked at. However, I'm classing this move to Cyprus as being one of three areas. It's either known things, not known things, or not known not knowns. And I'm getting an awful lot of the second and third category on that. There's a lot of things that I do know, and there's a lot of things which I'm already well on top of. You know, I've talked about residency, I've talked about houses in the UK and houses in Cyprus. And again, I don't necessarily want to put all the ins and outs as to why I'm doing that. People have said you haven't got a commitment because you're keeping the house in the UK. But the house in the UK is going to be rented out to my son. It's my son and daughter's inheritance. I've got no intention of giving up that because that will be their home. But at the same time, my commitment is total. The rent he's going to be paying me on my house is going to be put into the Cypriot economy. My pensions are being put into the Cypriot economy. So I'm very much dedicated to the idea of residence, full residence in Cyprus, and being a full contributing member to it. So that's sort of answers some of that. I don't need to tell you that's my ins and outs, but that's the way it is. However, it does bring me on to some of the not knowns. And there's a lot of not knowns. And thank you to some of the people who've guided me on this. I really appreciate it. But I'm in the process of trying to find a good immigration expert in Cyprus who can guide me through all the pitfalls, who can be able to advise me. Look at an international tax advisor, because I will still have income from the UK, which my son is paying me for the house, which is taxable, but I don't know which end. I think in the UK, but I'm not totally sure. A tax expert will tell me that. And also I still have a small job, which is I'm a digital nomad. I fall into this wonderful digital nomad category because I have a small job teaching. I teach online Zoom for a college in the UK, and there's a good possibility I'm going to carry on doing that because it's all done online. I can do it through the internet, and that will be paid hopefully into my Cypriot bank account. So again, it's income, whichever it is, income into Cyprus. But that will be there. But we're going to work out where the tax lies, where all the things, all the bits and pieces that you have to do. I'm getting experts onto that. So if I come across any issues with that, I'll try and describe them back to you. But don't think I'm doing things half-hearted. My commitment is totally towards going to Cyprus and being an integrated member of the community in Cyprus until I pop my clogs, basically. That's the way I'm looking at it. My English ties, I am English. It doesn't matter what anybody says, I'm English. I'm also Irish now. So my loyalties are still, to a fair extent, on both of those countries. Even though I'm not living there, I will never lose my loyalty to England, and I've also got a newfound loyalty to Ireland, which I'm incredibly proud of, to the same amount as the English side. I have history in England, and that doesn't go away. So that's where some of the issues may come. But loyalty-wise to wherever I'm going, loyalty-wise to my history, loyalty-wise to my citizenships, very important to me, and not to be put down. There's a lot of things that I'm struggling over. One of the biggest things I'm struggling over is how to get the dogs to Cyprus, because we have two dogs, both cockapoos, one a curly head one a straight head cockapoo. The curly head one is 11 this month, so he's getting on the older side. The younger one is 2.5. The dogs for us are incredibly important because they rely on us, not only just for the welfare, but for their lives. We keep them alive because of our actions, or we can make life impossible for them. And I'm very much in the idea that their welfare is paramount in this. So we've got to get a couple of dogs across. And one of the reasons why my wife is going to be coming in later, apart from just work reasons, is because we are not going to be bringing the dogs across in the middle of a Cypriot summer. We need to bring the dogs across in the off-season when it's more like an English summer where they're used to it, and then get them acclimatised, because bringing dogs who are used to wind and rain over here straight into a 40 degrees plus climate is cruel. We've also got to work out how we get them across there. I did a video about I think it was the 5 or the 8 reasons for going to Cyprus. One of them was about taking the car over there, and I got some criticism about why don't you buy a car over there, you're not showing commitment again. People have determined I'm not going to show commitment. But one of the reasons that we're considering taking the car over is because we need to get those dogs over, and we can't find an easy way to get them over on the plane. If we just put them into a crate in the plane, they can't be together, they've got to be in separate crates, and it'll probably kill the older one. He will pine without the younger one, he's got a son attached to her, and if we're not there as well, then it'll probably kill the older dog, and we cannot risk his welfare in any way, shape or form. But they're both well used to travelling long distances in the car. They do it whenever we go away in a caravan, and for that, a 2,000 mile trip over a few days, they'll be able to manage. We'll be with them, they're with each other, and we're there to care for them the whole time. So again, if we're going to drive a car all the way down to Cyprus, we might as well try and import it, because that's the way it is. Again, we're looking at shipping companies, we're looking at how the best way to get it across, where the ferries go from and to. It's not the easiest island to get onto at times, but that's where we're looking at. Again, we're not experts yet, so please don't judge us as being experts, and please don't judge us as being blasé on it as well. We are talking to an awful lot of people who are experts, who are going to guide us, and I'll try and bring that to you as we go on. Possibly a reason why we take a car on to Cyprus. A lot depends on when we sit down and do all the minutiae of costs, of realistic options, all those sort of things. So that's where we're basically at. The final thing though is, again, because of situation with my wife's work and the jobs, I was planning on going over the beginning of February to try and get myself sorted out. It's now almost certainly going to be the beginning of March, and there's reasons for that. But what we're doing as well, we've enjoyed going to Cyprus as holidays in the past, and I know that living over there is not the same as being on holiday. We're well aware of that. A few people are sort of pointing, oh, it's different, it's different. Yes, we know it's different. And we've spent enough time over there to know an awful lot of the non-touristy bits, an awful lot of the non-touristy attitudes and things, which are vitally important for us to be aware of. We're going to be spending the rest of our lives over there, so we really need that to be comfortable, which I believe it is. But what we're going to do is in March, instead of just going across there and slumming it, we're going to have a final holiday. So the final holiday is going to be in a hotel, which means that we've got accommodation, we've got food, everything like that, but spend the days on that fortnight working, going and meeting these experts, going and meeting the immigration experts, the tax experts, talking to estate agents to really get the home that we're after, because I don't need to move into it straight away, but I need it to be right and ready. I need to get a PA system for me, my work as a singer. Again, if we can bring it over in the car, it's going to be the end of the year, and I need it earlier on. And also making the contacts that I've already made to try and get the work in the hotels in the entertainment side. I think most of that's there, but again, it's like a jigsaw. If you get the pieces wrong, they don't fit. So I need accommodation first. I then need to look at transport, because it's all very well having gigs, but if I can't get the gear and myself to the gigs, then that's a difficulty. You can't carry it on the public transport very easily, and you can't easily get back last thing in the evening when you're finished. Then I need a PA system, because I need the tools of the work, and then of course I need to be able to get into that work and be reliable and consistent, and that all has to fit in the right order. If it's in the wrong order, it just clashes and doesn't work. So that's where we're up to. It's probably going to be the beginning of March when we finally get across there, and the idea is I probably won't be coming back to the UK at that point. My wife will be, because she's got work and jobs and things, the dogs and things to look after in that time, and that's going to give us some of the income that we're going to need to really make it successful in those early days. The early days are the critical days, because if you don't have enough finances for that, then everything's an uphill struggle. So we looked at our finances, we looked at our savings, we looked at our outgoings and our suspected outgoings, and we think we're comfortable, but we're sensible too. The whole thing's got to be a sensible move. We're both planners rather than people who just dive into things. So this has been getting planned for 10 years on and off, but this is the critical time. So we've got to make sure that we've got our finances and all our paperwork in order. The other thing I got criticised on some of the comments, and as I say, I take the criticism with a pinch of salt to a large extent, was the idea of going back to the UK for the July and August and the summers and the caravans. I maybe didn't put that the right way. Yes, we do intend to come back to the UK to pick the caravan up, but that doesn't mean to say it's going to stay in the UK. We want 2 months where we've got some holidays. Just because we go to Cyprus doesn't mean to say our holidays finish. It means we don't holiday in Cyprus anymore. I probably won't, because there's parts of the island which we will be seeing, but what it is means that we can actually go back to the UK, pick our caravan up. Yes, people have said that the caravan's going to rot away and the car's going to rot away. Well, the caravan probably won't. The caravan's well sorted. The car very well might, but it's an ancient old car that we're using to leave in the UK, and if it does, then that's fine. But what we're planning is taking the caravan and going off, not only through the UK, because we've done most of the UK, but taking it onto the continent, taking it across to Europe and seeing some of Europe. Since I've got a passport which allows me to see the EU and allows my wife to be with me, then let's go off and see some of the great cities of Europe while we've got the chance. Well, it's really hot in Cyprus. Let's go across and see the great parts of the rest of our lives. You know, might as well. It's a place I've always wanted to go to. I've always wanted to go to places like Hungary, Budapest. I'd love to go to Budapest. I speak a little bit of Hungarian. And to visit somewhere like that, the classic cities, Prague, all these places. But we can take the caravan around Europe and we can enjoy ourselves in our own time. So it's not as constrained as you might think, and it's not this dash back to the UK. And the very final one, people have been saying about my attitude to the NHS. Well, yeah. If I've paid for a service, then I expect to be able to get that service, even if, you know, I'm not here. However, a few people have pointed out, and quite rightly, about the S1 form and things, and about the transferring the NHS to the country. Again, we're well on the line down that. So, you know, don't worry. It's not that we're dashing back to the NHS in the UK. That will be service for us in the country we're going to, in Cyprus, for instance. But at the same time, I was countering somebody's attitude rather than anything else. So again, all those things, we'll take as much advice as we can in from the professionals. There's an awful lot on the internet which is absolute bunkum, but they're convinced they're right. I'd rather go to the professionals, pay a reasonable fee to actually make sure it's right, make sure the paperwork's right, and they can also make sure that what we're doing is the right steps for us to be able to carry on comfortably rather than necessarily have to reinvent the wheel in another year or two's time. So I hope that's answered some of your questions, and bit of a long video, but I'm going to try and cut it down shorter next time. But thanks very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, and there's been an awful lot of subscribers, so thank you everybody who's subscribed. You really make the channel grow quick. But if you haven't subscribed, it's free. It's a little click down there where it says subscribe. There's a little bell as well. Just hit the bell, hit all. That'll get you notifications every time I put a video up. And also, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, which is a like. Even if you don't like the video, give us a thumbs up. It does you no harm, but it does make an awful big difference to me as a small video channel to try and get things moving forward. So thank you to all that. And if you do enjoy this and you'd like to assist me with my with making more videos about my move to Cyprus, which is going to be a nice long journey. It's an awful lot ahead, because I'm not going to stop when I get there. I've got videos to do all around Cyprus. If you want to help with that, you can buy me a coffee. There's a link in the description below, and that would really help me keep the channel going. So till the next time, this is Brian saying bye-bye on my journey, my path to Paphos. Bye-bye.